Hi all and welcome to another episode where we play using the Bronze Age mod in Crusader Kings III. Last time we attempted to try and form the Minoan kingdom, which we succeeded in quite nicely. In this episode we are going to try to form the Kingdom of Cyprus, but the difference between the Minoan kingdom and the Kingdom of Cyprus is that the Kingdom of Cyprus didn't exist like in this era, so like 3,000 years ago. It kind of started to become a kingdom around the Crusades, maybe a couple of centuries before it, when it also was invaded by the Assyrians and stuff like that. But the real kingdom kind of started to exist after the Third Crusade in 1100 something 24, if I'm right. So yeah, quite interesting, of course. The kingdom title does exist, however under a different name, Alashiya. But by the time that we form it, we'll just rename it to the Kingdom of Cyprus, of course. The island is a bit smaller than the island of Crete, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's still quite fun to form the kingdom anyways. A little bit more about Cyprus itself. As I said, it only became a kingdom around the Third Crusade. However, there were already living people since the Stone Age, so to say, like 8,000, 7,000 BC. And it has always been kind of under influence of different kind of cultures, and eventually in the end, of course, by the Crusaders. Quite interesting, of course. Back then it kind of existed in or it was divided over 12 small kingdoms, so you can imagine 12 small kingdoms on the whole island, and we are just going to try to form it all to one. So it's kind of interesting to see. It's now also kind of divided, I think, the same way, like a couple, I think we have a few less, but still it is interesting. One thing that is also pretty known about this island is that the goddess Aphrodite was born there, as they say. It's a goddess of love, beauty, sexuality and fertility. Quite interesting, of course. So yeah, who knows, maybe we will encounter, I doubt it, but and yeah, we are going to start with the county of or the chiefdom. Even it's we're going to play tribal. Calabasas. It might have been one of the three capitals Cyprus had back then, because they are still not sure what the main city was. And of course it doesn't really matter, an island or a kingdom can have multiple important cities. So far a lot of historians think that Enkomi, it's somewhere on the east side of the island over here, I think, has always been the capital, but these days they are not sure, because there wasn't really anything interesting in that area to make that city big or make it the capital of the area. But however, another options are Calabasas or Alashiya. And Alashiya is somewhere over here as well, and Calabasas over here, as you see. And they were mainly important cities because there were clay mines, so to say, and copper and bronze mines, or they were making cutting in there and then making it into bronze, which also made this island very very important for its resources and of course trade. So that's why it's already being used like so many centuries. But yeah, it didn't really form something unless indeed around the 11th or 12th century. One of the fun facts about the island is, and especially the early people, they were living in round houses, and there are still a few cities. One of them is Choirokoitia. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but still, where you can still see those round houses, and it was really part of that culture back then to only build round houses while they were living in like just the normal houses that we are living right now, like squared houses on the mainland. But Cyprus, they really use round house for a very long time, so that's quite funny, a quite interesting detail as well, of course. But yeah, through the ages has been Muslims, Crusaders, Christians, and all kind of people, Egyptians even. So yeah, even it has even been part of England back then under King Richard, but that's around the 12th century, I think, and then he gave it away to Guy de Lusignan, I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyway, as I said, we are going to start with this one, and that's mainly because it is just one chiefdom, because the other ones are mainly bigger. Other reasons, of course, it might be one of the capital cities that Cyprus had back then, because the other two are in here, and that is a little bit too big, and I just want to have some fun, conquer it all. Who knows? Maybe it goes fast, maybe it doesn't. We'll know. We don't know. And for now, I don't have a character yet because, yeah, I couldn't find anything concerning any rulers back then. As I said, there were plenty, but they were all kind of in the 5th, 6th, 7th century, where the first written proof was found. So before Christ, there are no known rulers, so to say. So I am going to look into that, but it might be as well that we are just playing with the character that has the city itself over here, the chiefdom of Calabasas. And yeah, so I would say let's go, let's get in, and let's take over the island. And there we start off, of course. Eventually I made a custom character. As I said before, there wasn't really a family to play as, so I just kept the family name that was kind of made up by the game. We went into the diplomacy lifestyle, mainly going for the diplomats first, because we were playing tribal. So I was more like, let's get some prestige in. In the end, it also helps us to get an ally. Eventually, after playing the game, I realized I didn't really need that ally, but yeah, we had to do something right, as I wasn't sure how things were going to evolve. We are quite fast going to declare our first war already, as you see, over towards Akna. As I was like, well, I have to expand quickly. My army wasn't that big, even though we had 300 skirmishers and 30 siege ladders already. Quite a lot for just a chiefdom, so to say. But yeah, as I said, it's of course a bigger city, so that might have helped as well. Well, we are fighting our first battle over here, and again, I really like this mod, and also got some comments from the last episode that some viewers were not able to see it properly, so I hope this helps a little bit more, so you get at least an idea on what's going on, what the mod does exactly. It's more or less like showing you in a bigger view what's happening. At this point, we taken his heir prisoner, and I'm going to ransom it first to get some extra money out of it. And after that, because it's only one city, I can still kind of win the war or complete the war, which is really nice, of course, because I really had to expand my cities as well soon after. As you can see over here, because yeah, with that many men at arms already, I needed to make them stronger, especially if I wanted to fight against the other kingdoms. So I decided kind of to go north as well to Ora. He had no allies, so and my army grew quite a lot by taking over Akna. So I was like, well, let's go. I'm able to hold 3 cities myself, so that was the best move to make over here, especially when they are not having allies, and to take those chieftains or cities over before the AI does, because yeah, they are of course expanding as well. not that much as that was happening on the in the other video at the Minoan Kingdom, but yeah, we are doing quite okay here already. He took in his ally, or I think at least, because he got quite some soldiers. As you can see, we merely won this one, so that was quite a big one. But so far so good, and now I see it. It was my ally that was fighting the guy over here, or at least his armies, which made it easy for me to take over his capital right away. We took someone prisoner again, but yeah, still had to fight a bit because his armies came back as well. Sometimes you wonder why would you do that, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, as I said, we took over, I think, also his heir, or himself. No, his heir, I guess. So some extra money, always welcome. And then we just enforced our demands and take over Ora as well. So now we have 3 counties that we rule ourselves. So I'm just trying to upgrade all of them, because we are also able to claim a title soon. This one, the Kingdom of Cavassos, or Cavassos, how you want to say it. And we do get our first child as well, Leto. It's our daughter, and she is quite good. So there are more children coming, but if she would have been the only one, it would have been great as well. As you probably remember in the last video, we kind of had not that many children, and here we'll have plenty. But yeah, so we formed the kingdom, and that made it a bit easier as well, as I could add more military. I became the head of the culture of the Assalian, sorry, the Assalian culture, or the Cypriotic, how you want to name it, call it, doesn't really matter. So yeah, that was it made it easier. Now we're also helping our ally out by expanding a bit, and that's why I said, like, even in the end I didn't really need the ally. Of course it was very helpful, especially in the first part, but yeah, eventually, yeah, it did make things a lot easier than when I was playing the last video. Here we get our second child. It was our son, and he became the heir, because that's quite a difference we had with the last game. Here we have the male preference again, so he will just inherit everything as long as he stays the only boy. And will he be? We will see during the video. But yeah, he is quick as well, same as both of his parents, and that's why I also said with his sister, she become the intelligent one. So that's why I said, like, if she would have become the only child, it would have been nice as well. And luckily it is male preference, so it's not like that it's male dominated or something like that, and that's also, of course, quite a good thing. In the meantime, I'm just trying to look around and see what's happening, because I noticed at some point that I had claims on every city-state or every kingdom already on the island, and apparently that is because one of the tenets that it's within my faith, or within the faith, and that's a warmonger, which kind of gives you the right to declare war on everyone for every city or every duchy or every county or every kingdom they have. So that was quite interesting, which kind of made the whole role of the priest, so to say, or I don't remember the name properly of this one, yeah, kind of obsolete, so to say, because yeah, we already have the same culture, we already have the same faith. So what was he going to do? Well, not much, just maintain it, I guess. Eventually I also tried to see if I could get some of them already become my vassal, but in this matter I was just too far away for them. So yeah, the only other option I had to expand further was just to attack them. Luckily, their armies were a bit smaller than mine, so it became quite easy to fight them, so to say. Yeah, it takes time a bit. As you see, I'm just only for the battles and the big important stuff, I'm just slowing the video down, and the rest is just kind of on a higher speed. So it's not a video of a hour or 1.5 I have to talk through, because that will be a lot, and I doubt that people will watch it the whole 1.5 hours, so to say. But yeah, this was an easy victory, as well. As I said, those armies are way smaller than ours, and they just keep coming back. Here you see it also, like 1000 against what was it, 150 or 170. So I had 16 casualties, and his army was just gone, completely gone. So yeah, this was quite an easy one. In the meantime, I'm just getting there in the skill tree, just getting it up or getting down, so to say. It doesn't really matter how you see it, of course. At least there we go. We took over that city as well. Even took a prisoner. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with it in this case. I think I will always try to get money out of it, but at this time it isn't working. I'm just recruiting them. Especially I do it always with a mill, so I have some extra knights, so I don't have to hire them or things like that, and I can marry the women. I can marry off, so to say, to get more knights in. So quite nice. But yeah, indeed, we took over another county over there, and in the meantime also one of my elders, instead of a mayor, elders died, so I inherited another city over there, which I could give away as well. So that made it quite easy to see that I only can have 3 cities, so the rest I'm just like giving them away. In the meantime, just educating my children. One is going in the martial thread, and one is going into the learning thread, if I'm right. So quite nice. There I also tried to vassalize him, but yeah, same old. I was too far away, even though that my county was next to him, but still he didn't want it. And there are also some other things like army and faith and culture. Even I don't know exactly what the exact reasons were, but yeah, here again, just declaring another war. As I said, it's the easiest thing to take over the small counties first instead of going after the bigger ones. And here it is. I'm just having a way bigger army than he has, and I'm kind of only fighting with my men at arms, so I don't even have my levies with me. And you can imagine that it's going to be easy. I already captured him, so I'm going to ransom him again to get some extra money in, so I can upgrade my cities or expand them. How you want to see it, how you want to pronounce it, it doesn't really matter, of course. But yeah, still, because I of course ransom him, I lose 50% of the war score, so I have to take over his capital city anyways. But yeah, that's fine. It's also giving me some extra money eventually when I take over. So yeah, this going a bit faster than with the Minoan Kingdom video. More or less quite obvious, of course. The island is way smaller. And there were less territories to take over in a way. Of a lot of them were already together in a duchy or a kingdom. And I had the possibility eventually, because I was able to form the Kingdom of Cyprus quite soon as well, I could vassalize a few of them. So yeah, that made it quite easy, of course. And that was also one of the reasons why I went through the diplomacy playstyle, is that I get a plus 20 points on acceptance on vassalage, so that's made it quite easy. And here I go again into a war, at least defending more or less against raiders. mainly from the Kuklia one. That's the one to the west of our own territories or our own counties. He's kind of raiding me all the time. And again, we see another one, Leopetri. Let's take it over. You know, it's just they're the easy targets, and especially this one, he only had 36 soldiers. I still don't know how that happened, because yeah, he had a county, and yes, he was bigger before, but still, I was like 36. But yeah, eventually there were 3 left, and yeah, you can imagine what happened. Of course, I couldn't let it go, and eventually I had to attack them as well. After I took over the city, but yeah, you can imagine that wasn't a fair battle at all, mainly because I'm fighting only with my men-at-arms. Here we go, we have the city, so I was like, well, before we take it over, or before we accept it, let's take out that army as well. But yeah, as you see, it wasn't far from fair, but yeah, it's part of the game, and I can't really help it. It happened. So there we go, we already expanded a little bit more to the east now. So there's only one county left. That's kind of in the north, and the rest are kind of duchies or kingdoms in here. So now it's after going after the other county, it will take a bit. Of course, where we're going to start first. In the meantime, I'm going on a pilgrimage as well to at least get the pilgrim thread. Yeah, nothing interesting happens there. In the meantime, I'm just there, and yeah, and eventually we go home, and yeah, not much to tell about that one. In the meantime, I got a third daughter, and eventually a fourth will come as well. Luckily no other boy. But still, the wife was eventually like 46 or 47 years old, and still got 2 children or something. So I was really like, okay, wow, that is quite a lot. You don't see that happen often in there. That characters from that age are still getting children. And there we go again. We go for another war. This one is a tricky one. Because yeah, and you will see it eventually in the video, is they are taking over my capital as well, and they capture me, and that's making it tough. And I think he's also calling in his allies, which was quite weird because he was also my ally. So I don't know exactly how that works, and in my opinion that should be a bug, because if you're allied to both parties, you choose a side and the alliance with the other one breaks, or you can do anything, so to say. So yeah, that was quite something, but you see he is not attacking me because he's just standing north of me, north of my army, but he is taking it back. So it is quite interesting to see how that goes, and I don't really understand how it is happening. But then he decides to go after me, after my capital at some point. At this point I'm first destroying the army of that Kingdom North, Filia I think it's called as well. So I was like, okay, fine, let's just keep going after his armies, because at this point I was kind of expecting that my ally and his ally wasn't going to do anything. But I was mistaken in that point. He was just taking over my capital. And I was like, okay, fine. Just do it. But then he captured me and my war score went down, unfortunately. So I tried to move my armies to his capital of my former ally to maybe free me. But yeah, it was already at 100% for them. So I really didn't stand a chance, so to say. I didn't have any options but to accept my loss here, which was annoying, because yeah, you have been fighting, taking over and stuff, and then something silly like that happens. But yeah, that is of course the bad side of having not a king that's leading the army. But yeah, even then it can happen they can capture your king or even kill him. So yeah, it is what it is, you know. In the meantime, I'm getting raided again by the Kingdom of Kuklia, but this time I just fought him off. So I was able to take his loot back that he took from my lands to my own. So that was quite nice. And then eventually I am going to try to declare war again. But first I'm waiting for a peasant revolt. As you can see over here, I knew where it was coming. So I just had my armies just standing there. So that was quite easy. But I do like it mainly because yeah, those leaders are pretty good. Are pretty good knights. So I always try to recruit them in there. And well, yeah, that's he accepts as well, so that's always good to have an extra one. And then eventually I'm going to marry off my heir because yeah, it is we need some offspring as well into the family. This is giving me an alliance far north into Turkey, so yeah, not that interesting. Because mainly I eventually lost that alliance with Ledra, the one I was allied with before. And I was not able to get it back or something, even with my diplomacy things. Diplomacy possibilities. So yeah, that was quite weird. So yeah, I was like, well then we will marry off. And in the meantime I just started the war again for the same county. Because my chancellor was able to get rid of the kind of truce because it was not right. It was illegitimate, if I'm saying it right. I don't know, sorry. So yeah, and he had no allies anymore. So I was like, well, this is time. Move in, take over, and we will see where we will end up, of course. In the meantime, yeah, his armies were also running around trying to get to my capital again and again and again. So I was just like, okay, at some point I just have to take over his, and he just kept attacking my army, which eventually resulted in his death. An ally came in from that county next to him, as you see there. But yeah, this was a tough one. I did lose one battle over here, but yeah. Eventually, I did win. Yeah, I just was fighting only with my men at arms at that moment. So I just kind of got in my ally and then fought them again. Here you see that I'm marrying off my daughter. So that gave me an alliance extra, which I was able to use to fight them. If I at this point didn't have him helping me, then it would have been gone. Then I would have lost again, so to say. And here you see I'm allied to Ledra again, but now via a marriage, which is helping me very nice. As you can see, we really had a way bigger army than they had. So this is going to make it a lot easier to at least take over the capital again. And in the meantime, yeah, those guys, they just keep attacking the ally, and yeah, that is completely fine by me. And there we go. We have finally taken over Philia after one terrible war and one war that almost went terrible, but still we were able to make it. In the end, we did had some prisoners, so we were able to take it all over. Or recruited them. And I was also kind of looking at that county northeast over there, and I saw that he was in war for some piece of land in Turkey. So I was like, well, sure, you go there with your ally, you just give me the opportunity to take over the only piece of land you have. And that was quite easy because yeah, they went sailing, and the only thing I had to do was just go to his capital and attack it, or siege it, so to say. And yeah, as you see, they're fighting up there. And I wasn't sure if it was his war or the war of his ally to the east, far east. But yeah, eventually he came back, but his army was so small that yeah, he kind of got defeated right away. And that was annoying for his ally because he kind of took over the war. So I think it was the war of his ally and he was just helping out there. But yeah, it is what it is, or it was what it was, whatever. Doesn't really matter. We were able to take it over quite quickly. And that was kind of the last, how do you say it? Last independent county, so to say. The rest is all kingdoms / duchies that's still left here. So here you see that I'm kind of looking like, okay, what are the possibilities I have over here? Here I do get a claim on the whole duchy to the northeast, which is really going to help me eventually to get closer to the kingdom, or the empire title, no, kingdom title, so to say. Yeah, it is a little bit confusing because you have the kingdom titles, but that are in here, that are the duchies, and then the kingdom is kind of the high kingdom. So it is really a bit weird sometimes how it works. But yeah, here you see I just declared a war for the whole kingdom there. For the whole duchy, I will just use the normal pronunciations for those things, so it's maybe a little bit less confusing. Yeah, his army isn't that big, but yeah, I also got my ally in. I was like, well, just do it, because I wasn't sure what to expect over there. And I took over the cities quite easily, and after that we just went back to defeat his army as well. That was, of course, not that difficult, as you can see. My ally took the other guy prisoner, so that helped a lot. And in the meantime, I got attacked from the west. So I had 2 wars to fight, and that was the Kingdom of Cyprus that was attacking me for the city over there that he is sieging now. Luckily, my ally kept the other kingdom busy, so I was able to move my army west and go after him, so to make sure that he wasn't slowly taking over cities or my lands, so to say, or get to my capital. As you never know, of course, how those things evolve. But yeah, he was kind of running right away, and you saw my ally was following me. But yeah, as at some point he did not he kind of stopped being my ally. This was kind of it where it happened. I probably missed a message somewhere, as I'm not that sure. But yeah, I took over that kingdom in the northeast, that duchy. Seriously, I still call it kingdom. And there I'm also able to claim the high kingdom, and which is quite nice. It was, of course, what we are playing for, or going for, so to say. And eventually I will just change some things, and I can, here you see, I can just get a few in for as my vassal, which made it a lot easier, as now I got Ledra, that was my ally, is now my vassal, and the rest of Philia that also became my vassal. So now the only enemy I had left in here was kind of the Kingdom of Cyprus, the duchy. And he had 3 how do you say it, 3 cities or 3 counties, and yeah, that war didn't go that easy, because he was every time just running away. Even though that if I would have been taking over his capital or whatsoever, it wasn't really useful, because his army was too big to let it just run around. So, and meantime, I'm just expanding my army a bit more, because I have now the High Kingdom, I can have 1 more regiment of men-at-arms. Here you see I'm just sieging my capital, but I was like, oh, you're sieging mine, so that's not going to happen. I'm not going to let the same happen like last time. So I just kind of went after his army, and he just stopped there. So yeah, that made it easier for me to eventually defeat him. As you see, it went quite easy, but that was mainly because of the bowmen I have. A lot of those counties or duchies here, they're using skirmishers as their main army, and bowmen counters those, and they are not getting others. They are only having skirmishers. So I don't know if that's something that's quite normal back then, or that's quite normal in this mod. I really have no clue. That that made it also quite easy for me. And here I am also just declaring war for his whole kingdom, because yeah, that was kind of the only thing that was left. So here I am after his army first, but that kind of, yeah, I just destroyed it completely eventually. And here we go to his capital, and yeah, and it's like there's nothing left. I capture his king, his leader, and it was kind of over. So yeah, and yeah, that's how fast it can go as well. So in like 1 hour we took over the whole island, not only by fighting, also by getting people as my vassal and stuff like that. But still, we were able to form the kingdom in there. And as you can see, it's quite nice, and I really like to play this one as well, even though it was a bit easier. But still, hey, I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I hope to see you in the next one. So until then, bye bye.